What is going on, my skiing friends and family? I just got off another shred-tastic day on Whistler. It was a bit slushy, it was a bit icy, it was a bit everything out there. So my skis were feeling pretty funny, and I haven't waxed in about 10 days. And if you really want to shred, one important thing you got to do is make sure you keep your gear tuned up properly all the time. And the first step to doing that and taking good care of your skis is waxing. Waxing. Anyone can do it. Young, old, new skier, veteran skier, doesn't matter. Anyone can wax their skis, and everyone should wax their skis. So I was afraid for so long to wax my own skis, to tune my own skis. Started doing it a couple years ago, and it's easy. It's so easy, and it's so worth it. It's gonna save you some money. You can't wax too much, but you can definitely wax too little. When you wax a ski too little, the base actually becomes white. So these skis are looking pretty good. I haven't left them too long. You can see a little bit of white kind of at the top of these skis, and that white means the base is drying out, and it means it's thirsty. And you know who else is thirsty? I'm thirsty. So my bases are thirsty, but I'm thirsty. And the first and most important step to ski tuning is to grab a drink. So that's step one here. Cheers, anyone watching at home? Got the red wine. Ah, that's nice. Warming me right up. Oh, yes. Whew. Okay, you never want to be too coordinated when you're tuning your skis because things could go too well. You want to make sure you're a little bit loosened. You know, when you maybe mess up a little bit, you're not going to get as mad at yourself. You got to drink handy. First important step is to set up your work area. So I'm super lucky. I got a great little workbench here. I think it's important to note that you can tune skis on anything. I've waxed my skis literally just sitting on the ground like this. I have my skis on the floor, and I've just waxed them on the floor in like the bathroom of a hotel room. You can put your skis on books. You can put them on anything. These are some handy dandy vices. They're super sweet. They do a bunch of different lengths. So you can go in the middle. When I do my race skis, I do them right in the middle. But what it can also do is do snowboards, right? So if you got a big wide old snowboard, a big powder cruiser, they go out wider. For me, I'm doing my POW skis, so I keep this one out wide. In the middle here, this is where you put them in when you're gonna do your edges. So you tighten this part here and you slide it back this way, and that cinches your edge in right like this. Ooh, that's tight. So they're a sweet, versatile tuning tool. Would totally recommend if you're gonna get into tuning in any degree. It's handy to have that. Step two, get the ski. So I got my little tuning kit here. I've got one for sharpening, and I've got one I use for waxing. So all we're gonna need to start off here is hair ties or elastics. So you're gonna take these elastics and you're gonna put them around the brake of the ski. You don't want these ski brakes in the way, because when you're getting the iron on here, you're doing stuff on the base, it's gonna be super annoying if these are in the way. So you take your elastic, you put them around the back of your binding, and I'll flip that over so you guys can see what I did there. But there you go, see, you just put the elastic around the back of your ski binding, and it's gonna hold your ski brake out of the way. Got a base cleaner here. As long as your ski is clean of debris and other junk and whatever dirty stuff you manage to get on your ski over the course of a day is gone, that's good. But I always like running some base cleaner on it. Got a citrus base cleaner here.
It's like huffing glue that's probably gonna make me a little silly.
You don't need much of this stuff. Usually I just pour one little dab, and I've had this for maybe 2 seasons now. Just rub it on your ski, just like that. Use a clean towel. Don't use like an oil rag from the garage. Like, use something relatively clean. Cleanest towels in the house, typically the turby towel maybe your girlfriend puts in her hair. That's a good one. Just don't tell her. They work fantastic. They're super clean, right size too. You might not like cleaning your house, and that's fair. I don't like cleaning either, but cleaning skis is important. If the base is all dirty and you don't make sure it's clean before you wax, you're just gonna basically push all that gunk and dirt and whatever else is there back into your ski, and that's gonna be a dirty little disgusting mess. What you do to one ski, you're always gonna do to the other ski, so I'm just gonna let that base cleaner dry. God, that's good. The tools you're gonna need when you're waxing skis are pretty straightforward. You're going to need a block of wax. There's a bunch of different brands. Smells like wax. taste like wax. You want to make sure you get a wax that's meant for the temperatures that you'll be skiing. I've got a universal wax here. Wax is cheap, so you can have different waxes for those different temperatures that you're gonna run into. So that's tool number one. Tool number two that you're gonna need is the most important tool, second most important tool, and that is an iron. So there's two types of irons that you can run with. The first is a specialized tuning iron, and the second is grandma's iron from the closet that she used to press your grandfather's beautiful shirts for the last 40 years. This is what I started with. This is what many people still use. The disadvantage with using, the run-of-the-mill iron is you can't control the temperature. So on a specialized iron, you can control the temp of your iron, and that's helpful because wax has a burning point. So every wax, it'll say on it what the burning point is. This one says 130 to 140 degrees. With this, you can set that temperature and you're gonna be melting it at the right melting point. With this guy, you're playing guesswork. You're doing guesswork. Might be too hot, might be too cold. Is it the end of the world? Absolutely not. You should still wax anyways. But it might smoke. If the wax smokes, that means you're running the iron a little too hot. So if you're just using one of these, normal irons, all you have to do is unplug it, let it cool off a bit, then put the wax on, melt that wax on, when the iron's a little less hot. But don't let that stop you from using this. One more very important piece of advice that I can give you, probably the most important piece of advice if you're running with the old iron route, and make sure to let whoever in your household is the iron king or queen, make sure to let them know that you use the iron for ski tuning, because somebody's favorite shirt, skirt, dress or dress pants are gonna be pretty mangled up, and some of the wax colors aren't colors you want on anything white. So I've gotten in trouble a number of times. I've gotten my fair share of spankings. Don't want that. I'm saving you from a lifetime of spankings. Don't get spanked. Next thing is plastic scrapers. So there's two kinds of plastic scrapers. There's ones that are a bit softer. They got a bit of flex. There's ones that are a bit harder. It doesn't really matter. Plastic scrapers just have a plastic edge and it's used for scraping wax off. I would recommend when you're starting off, use one that's a bit harder, because when you can flex it a bit more, you can actually, it's not as even when it's on the base of your ski. So if you're starting out, just go with a hard, simple, cheap plastic scraper. You might have gotten a tuning kit and have got like a metal scraper. Never use this for wax. See this thing? This thing will destroy your base. These are only used when you're melting P-Tex into a hole in your base. You keep the P-Tex on here, you melt it in, you scrape the P-Tex off. It's not used for wax. These things are so sharp, they'll dig right through your base and they'll take out any of that sweet base material that you want to keep in there. So if you look at these bases now, after I had the base cleaner on it, you're gonna see that they're a lot whiter. So it took some of that wax right off. So if you're gonna use the base cleaner, don't use the base cleaner and don't wax and get out there skiing, because it's not gonna be as slippy and slidey as it normally would be. Melt the wax on. We're gonna get things started here. My iron getting set to the heat. It's heating up here. All you really do with the wax is you're gonna press it onto your hot iron and you're gonna drip it along your base. You can go from tail to tip or tip to tail. And when you're dripping the wax on, you just wanna do like a kind of slippery, slithery snake kind of motion. Just run it down. Guys like just going straight down the middle. Do the straight line, do the landing strip through the middle of the ski. Some guys like to do a bit more of a snake. I'm a snaky kind of guy. Some guys are out there, they want to do the zigzag. I mean, the world's your oyster, it's all up to you. So I'm gonna do a snake here. Try not to get this cord caught on everything. I always do. You hold your iron, you can hold it sideways, you can hold it down. Doesn't really matter. This isn't a perfect science. This isn't rocket science, guys. This is ski waxing here, Anyone can do it. Don't hold it over your face like this, because then you're gonna breathe it in unless you
want to have the fumes.
But it's better if you give yourself a bit of space. What you do is you hold the wax on and you just drip it onto your base, and you're going from tip to tail. And I like to make a nice little snake like this. It's not gonna be the prettiest sometimes. There you go, this wax is melting perfectly. You don't need to use too much. Less is more sometimes with wax. There you go. So once that wax is dripped on, then you're gonna take your iron while it's still warm, and you're gonna run it from the tip of your ski to the tail of your ski and get it all melted into the ski. Some people do little circles like this. Some people just move it horizontally. With a big ski like this, I find it easier to kind of do circles. Some people are nitpicky and they say, oh, you know, don't move your iron too much or you're gonna scratch it on your edges and it's gonna re-scratch your bases. I mean, look, if you're guys like us, you're a guy like me, you're skiing trees, you're skiing this, you're skiing that, and you're not doing World Cup racing, you don't gotta be too fast, right? We're not shaving seconds off here, we're just trying to have a decently waxed ski. You never want your iron to stop from moving. If you stop your iron on your base for too long and it's not moving, you can damage your base. So that's the only issue that you could cause. So don't drink too much wine, whatever, fall asleep holding the iron on the base of your ski. That's not good. So I wanna make sure that whole base is getting covered. You allow yourself to have a great après ski after the ski day. So why aren't your skis allowed to have a beautiful rehydration session? No wax particles in the wine. Oh geez, hopefully it's not too toxic. Finish it off, I like to do one nice slow pass from the tip to the tail. Kind of feel like I'm a Zamboni driver. Every kid dreams to be a Zamboni driver. Every dad dreams their kid's gonna be a doctor. Let the boys dream. Oh yeah, that would have been a good Zamboni driver. Look at that. Perfect. Wax is on. Depending on your wax, they usually come with instructions. Either there's a cooling period, an hour, half an hour, 15 minutes. Follow the instructions. Whatever it says, just do that. Sit back, have a beer, have your wine, do your second ski, let it cool off, and then come back and scrape it. While we're letting this ski cool, I'm gonna do some shameless promotion here. You might have seen me wearing the new Rise and Alpine threads. So this thing's super chill. It's the Back and Blackcomb long sleeve tee. Perfect for hitting the après, perfect for wearing it while you're skiing, perfect for a waxing session. It's good for it all. We've also got it in Whistler whiteout. So it's a white tee with a black symbol. Got these threads for sale down in the description below. Check it out if you want to support your boy. Buy a shirt, buy a sticker. Got the Yeehaw sticker. Nothing on the back. It's comfy. Probably the fanciest thing I've actually ever owned and worn. Taking my style up to the next level. Rise and Alpine threads. Get them in the description below if you're interested. If you're not, no worries. Sorry for that quick break. Let's get back to it now. When you're scraping, you're gonna use the edge of the scraper on a 45-degree angle. Hopefully wherever you are will have more space than I have right now. As you apply pressure, 45-degree angle, and you run that scraper along your base. And as long as you're using a plastic scraper meant for ski tuning and you're not using like the edge of metal or something ridiculous, your base is gonna be fine. Don't be fussed, you're not hurting your base or anything. Go for another round. This ski is so wide, sometimes takes a few passes to get the majority of the wax off. Now if you don't get all the wax off, it's not the end of the world. It's wax, repels water. Ski is gonna, move more fluid than it did before anyways. Do one last super light pass. See, every time you go over it, less and less wax comes off the base. That's how you know you've got enough off. I can see that there's a bit more wax kind of right in here. Let me get that off. Oops. There we go. You're good to go. So with some waxes, that's all you need to do. With the wax I'm using, it's always good to bring it out with a nylon brush. Just kind of polishes it, brings out that wax, pushes it deeper. The nylon brush, you want to go in one direction. The way that your ski is going to slide in the snow. Perfect. There you go. The wax can kind of build up on the edge of the ski, and the edge is the part of the ski that's going to be in contact with the snow. It's the most important part other than the base. So some guys will leave that wax on. It'll come off while you're skiing. I'm extra nitpicky, I like to take it off. You can just use the edge of your scraper. This scraper came with a little corner off the edge. And what's that's used for is you just stick it, it's a 90-degree corner. You just stick it lightly on your edge and it'll scrape along and take off any of that excess wax that's on the edge of your ski. You can use your nail too if you don't have one of those special corners. So let's take a look at the finished product here. Probably got wax flakes in my hair at this point. 2 freshly waxed bases ready to absolutely shred the powder the next time it falls. The one thing I can't stress enough is how easy it is. It takes 5 minutes to ski, and it should be done once, you know, every maybe 6 days out on the hill would be a solid rule of thumb. Every 6 days. A lot of people only do it once a year, and it's gonna dry your bases out. Your skis are gonna be healthier, you're gonna be happier, you're gonna be having way more fun. A couple more quick tips. If you're just learning to tune skis, it's your first time waxing, you're nervous, or your first time doing edges, then I'd recommend maybe using an old pair, maybe your rock skis, maybe you got an old pair of your dad's 70s, your mom's 70s skis in the basement, they're 200s. The worst damage you can do in waxing your skis, other than using a metal scraper and actually doing base damage, was put way too much wax on my bases, and the disadvantage to that is you're wasting wax, and wasting a little bit of money, and scraping off a whole lot of wax. It takes a lot of time. Sometimes when you're skiing, you run over a rock. You all know that sound, you know, like that sound. Total piss off. You're gonna get what's called a core shot or a base shot or whatever you wanna call it. Wax isn't gonna fill in. It'll fill in some like the minor cosmetic stuff, but wax isn't gonna fill in like big base gouges. So don't drip a bunch of wax into, you know, a core shot in your ski thinking it's gonna fill it up. It won't. That's what P-Tex is for, and that's a whole different thing, and you do that before you wax. If you guys got any more questions, don't hesitate. Throw a comment in the comments below, ask me a question. I'll do my best to answer it. I'm stoked to get out on these freshly waxed skis. I cannot freaking wait. I love the feeling of sliding around on that fresh wax up. Happy I could educate you about ski tuning a little bit today, if you didn't already know, if you didn't do it yourselves. And hopefully I can inspire you to get out there and try tuning. You know, grab that random iron in your house and just go for it, because it's going to make a difference in your skiing, your progression, and just overall good time. So maybe try waxing your skis, maybe ask me a question or two. Thanks again for watching. Really appreciate all you guys. And get in there in the mountain this week. Be safe, ski hard, have fun, keep on shredding. I'll see you next time.